Hey everybody, how's it going? Thiago here and welcome to another video. Happy Sunday. So just like last week, today I brought another movie for us to learn English with. Today's pick is Braveheart, and I have to give a shout out to one of the viewers here who actually suggested Braveheart for the Sunday video, okay? And the comment comes from Gilvan Bernardino 432. Gilvan says, "There is a picture behind you from Braveheart. What about making a video upon it?" Thank you so much for the suggestion. Here it is, and I hope you enjoy today's video. As Gilvan mentioned here, and as you guys can see, I have a huge Braveheart poster here behind me. And there is a reason, guys. It's one of my top favorite movies of all time. It's such an awesome movie. And I think this is the largest movie poster I actually have here in this room because I love this movie so much. Aside from the great acting, the dialogue, the action scenes, something really impactful about this movie is the music. The music is just awesome. When you talk about music in movies, there are usually two words you can use: score and soundtrack. Even though they can be used interchangeably many times, there is a slight difference between score and soundtrack. Soundtrack is usually related to the songs that are played during a movie. For example, Footloose, another great movie that I love. It's a very musical movie, full of songs that people dance to. So I can say that I listen to the Footloose soundtrack. Okay? Now, when you have a movie like Braveheart, which is more epic, more historical, there aren't many songs that play in the movie, but there is music in the background. That's the score. The score is the music that is written or composed specifically for that movie to elevate the scenes and to make us feel more as we watch the movie. And the score for this movie, guys, truly elevates the whole experience. It's amazing. So without further ado, let's watch Braveheart and Mel Gibson playing William Wallace. Let's see. All right, so let's get started here with this iconic scene from Braveheart. Here it is.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace.
William Wallace is 7 feet tall.
All right, so the kid is questioning him here, saying, William Wallace is 7 feet tall. You're not William Wallace. Feet or foot is another way of measuring someone's height, how tall someone is. I actually had to convert the numbers and check it before recording the video today. So 1 foot is around 30 centimeters. All right. So 7 feet is a little over 2 meters. So that's a really tall person. So the kid is saying, hey, William Wallace is over 2 meters tall or 7 feet tall. You're not that big or that tall. You're not William Wallace. Because in the movie here, guys, the Scottish people here, the army, haven't really met William Wallace in person yet. They have heard stories about him, and his fame started to spread through word of mouth and people talking about him and rumors going around. So he almost became this mythical figure among the Scottish people, like a Scottish hero. So people started saying things like, oh yeah, he's super tall. He's 7 feet tall. He's this, he's that. Okay, so that's what the kid is saying here. He's questioning William Wallace in this case. Let's continue.
Feet tall.
Yes, I've heard. Kills men by the hundreds.
He kills men by the hundreds, like he kills hundreds of men. But it's interesting how he uses the construction here. Yeah? It's a little bit of a different way to communicate that idea, right? Because, he could have said he kills hundreds of men. I think that's maybe a more standard way of saying this. He kills hundreds of men, but this is another way. He kills men by the hundreds, okay? Or it could be even by the thousands, all right?
The hundred. And if he were here, he'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes and bolts of lightning from his arse.
That was really cool. Let me just go back a little bit here. Here we have a very nice case of second conditional. If he were here, he'd consume the English. So second conditional is a conditional in English that is used to talk about hypothetical situations or imaginary situations. It's that typical example, right? What would you do if you had $1 million? You see, this is not really real. I'm just imagining this as a hypothesis, okay? So if he were here, notice that he says if he were, not if he was, because in second conditional, we use were for all the pronouns. If I were, if he were, if she were, if it were. That's actually the correct way to structure the second conditional. It is possible for you to say if I was. He could say here, if he was here, he would consume the English. But this is a more informal variation, all right? The true correct way in second conditional is to use were for all the pronouns here. So if he were here, that's simple past. If he were, he'd consume. So the he'd here is a contraction for would. He would consume. He'd consume. All right?
Here. He'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes.
Fireballs from his eyes. Imagine, like, there is that superhero from, I think, is it X-Men? I think it's Cyclops, or even Superman. Superman shoots fireballs from his eyes, all right? So that's what William Wallace would do here, right? He's joking, of course.
And bolts of lightning from his arse.
Oh, that's cool, man. Okay, and bolts of lightning from his arse, or arse, right? First of all, a boat. A boat is a small, short, and hard arrow that usually you use in crossbows, you know, a weapon. It reminds me of The Walking Dead. One of the main characters in The Walking Dead is Daryl. Daryl uses a crossbow as the main weapon. And the things that he shoots with that crossbow are bolts. He shoots bolts to kill the zombies, okay? So bolts of lightning, okay? A bolt of lightning is, imagine a storm, and you see the bolt of lightning happening. It's the light with the thunder together, you know? The thunder is the sound, and the lightning is what you see. That's we call this a bolt of lightning, okay? Bolts of lightning from his arse, okay? Arse is another word for ass. Your ass is your butt, you're behind. Os or arse is the same here. This is a more British variation, okay? If you watch Americans talking, they would likely say ass, A-S-S. But in British English, there is this variation here for ass, which is arse, all right? So he's joking with the kid, like, yeah, I mean, I am William Wallace, and if he were, actually, if William Wallace were here, he would, you know, do all these amazing, incredible things, like this superhero. He's kind of being sarcastic here with the kid and being funny, so let's continue.
Lightning from his arse. I am William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen.
This is nice. Whole army. The pronunciation here of the word whole, there is an L at the end, okay? Whole. Whole. Yeah. We go, whole, whole. So we naturally join the L with the A for army, whole army. He doesn't do it so clearly here in this clip because he's kind of shouting, but in natural speech, that's what you would do, okay? You would say whole army, whole army. It's a lar, la, la. We connect. A whole army of my countrymen.
Of my countrymen, here in defiance of tyranny.
In defiance of tyranny. Very nice. Defiance is a noun. And the verb for defiance is defy. When you defy someone, you disobey that person. You don't want to obey that person. You resist whatever that person is telling you to do. Okay? Think about a kid defying the parent. The parent says, hey, it's late, go to bed. And the kid says, no, I'm not going to bed now. So the kid is defying the parent in this example. All right? And defiance is the noun for defy. Tyranny, I think you guys are familiar with this word. So tyranny has to do with usually a government that rules or governs with oppression and in a cruel way. All right? It's almost like, do as I say, because if you don't do as I say, I will punish you because I have the power to punish you. This is tyranny. So, in defiance of tyranny. Yeah, the Scottish army here is defying the tyranny of the English Empire. Okay? Guys, listen to the score, the music here. Yeah? The music elevates the movie so much. It's incredible.
You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do without freedom?
Nice. Pay attention to this question here. What will you do? We have a question with will here. Again, normally we would connect the will, the L again, the O, with the U. Will you? Will you? He does that here, but I think I hear that very lightly. Okay? But right after, he's going to say that combination again, and you will hear it more clearly. So, what will you? We say, what will you? What will you? Will you? Will you? What will you do with that freedom? What will you do with that freedom? All right?
Will you fight?
Did you guys hear now? Will you fight? That was easier to pick up, right? To understand. Will you? Will you fight? Will you fight? All right?
Will you fight? Against that? No!
Against that, no, because the British army is much larger than the Scottish army here. Okay? So we can say that they, the Scottish people, are outnumbered. It's all together. It's one word, okay? Outnumbered. They are outnumbered. If an army is outnumbered, it means that it's much smaller in comparison to the other army. The other army is much larger and has many more weapons. Okay?
We will run! And we will live. Aye?
I. This is a good word. I is a archaic, old-fashioned way of saying yes or agreeing with someone. Like, yeah. It's like a yes or yeah. But very, very archaic. Really old. I. So the movie here is an epic movie. It tells an epic story about something that supposedly happened many, many years ago. Okay? So the language here sometimes sounds a bit archaic because of that. Another example I can think of is when you watch Pirates, like the Pirates of the Caribbean, for example. If you watch that movie, you will see the pirates there saying I all the time instead of yes or yeah. I'm a pirate. I. All right? Let's continue.
Aye. Fight and you may die.
Fight and you may die. This is a very nice word here.
Fight and you may die.
I wanted to pause. Yeah, there you go. May here, may is a modal verb. A modal verb, may, just like might, could, should, okay? May is similar to maybe. It's like there's a 50-50 chance that something will happen. So here, fight and you may die. It's like maybe you will die if you fight, okay? There's a 50-50 chance.
Die. Run, and you'll live. At least a while.
At least a while. For a few years.
And dying in your beds many years from now. Would you be willing?
Would you be willing?
To trade?
Okay. Would you be willing to trade? So when you are willing to do something, you are eager to do it. You really want to do it. So for example, if you want to improve your English, guys, you have to be willing to practice as much as you can, to study as much as you can, to be in touch or in contact with English as much as you can. You have to be willing, you have to want to do that. If you're not willing to do that, it's going to be really hard for you to see any significant improvement. All right? But anyway, would you be willing to trade? When you trade, you get something or you choose something in favor of something else or in exchange of something else. It's like you have two options in your hands, but you cannot have both. You have to choose one. And when you choose one, you are trading. You are trading this option instead of this option or for this option, okay? Actually, trading this option for this option. Got it?
Just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Oh man, this movie is incredible, guys. You gotta watch this movie, okay? But just going back a little bit here, he's asking them, would you be willing to trade your lives for freedom? That's basically what he's asking here. Do you want to live life? Do you want to live a little bit more, a few more years maybe, but not being free? Or do you want to have this one chance now on this battlefield to win your freedom? That's basically what he's asking here, the soldiers, right? And did you guys hear the music again? The music, the score? You know, guys, every time I watch this movie, I have goosebumps. You know, goosebumps is when the hair on your arms, for example, raise or lift because you are so touched, emotionally speaking, you know? You can say that you have goosebumps, all right? Like, ooh, the scene is so powerful. It gave me goosebumps, or I just got goosebumps, all right? This is amazing. Now, just a little bit more toward the end here. Now, this is interesting, guys. We have here some sort of expression or exclamation, Alba Gubra, all right? I actually had to research and look it up on Google. Yeah, so let me read here what I found. What does this mean? Because, you know, he is raising his arm and shouting this, right? And then everybody else is joining him and shouting the same thing. Alba Gubra, okay? So check it out. Alba Gubra is a Scottish Gaelic phrase used to express allegiance to Scotland, the country. Idiomatically, it translates into English as Scotland forever. So it's a dialect that means Scotland forever, all right? It has also been used on some Scotland football national team shirts over the past few seasons. Really interesting. I am pretty sure that I am mispronouncing this. So if any of you out there are watching this video now, and if you happen to come from Scotland, or if you know someone from Scotland, feel free to write here in the comment section the correct pronunciation, because I get the feeling that it's not this. It's not Alba Gubra. There is something else to it. And if you want to add more information about this expression, feel free. If you understand more about Scottish history and things related to that, all right? All right, I hope you enjoyed learning some English with Braveheart today. And like I said at the beginning of the video, watch this movie again, or watch it if you've never seen it, because it's amazing. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I'll be talking to you in next week's podcast, which is going to come out on Wednesday, all right? See you soon.